Aloha, everybody. Hope you're having a great weekend. Friday was a very interesting session. A final hour rally in the overall market with a high day close. Negated any early negative price action. Had a lot of sell stops trigger intraday. Almost all of them for profits, over 85% for profits. And by the close, still had some full sell signals. But the surprising thing, shocking thing almost for me was 5 new long signals, all of quality. So we'll go ahead and start out with the highest quality and then work our way down to the lowest quality, but they're kind of all pretty good, but none of them are great. It's up to you. Once again, this is how I invest. This is how I trade personally. I pay rock bottom commission so I can take all 5 positions. I don't love any of these. If I only traded stocks that I love, I wouldn't be fully invested right now. And that's definitely paid off this year. So we have to take that into consideration. The lack of hot to beautiful chart patterns continues, and there's nothing I can do with it. I can only go long stocks that offer great possible reward to low risk setups. So with that note, XPO is a new long signal. This is a can slim quality and a perfect speculator quality stock. It's in both of my scans. However, it isn't a true quote can slim quality long signal. Like none of these stocks have that definition of 25% sales and earnings growth the past few quarters. But XPO overall, the growth trajectory is very strong, and it's going to continue to do that into the aforementioned future. So let's just look at the chart pattern. Technical base, you can see that this is an ascending base pattern, ascending triangle pattern, however you want to call it. It broke out above it, kind of pulled back, and then broke out with the earnings just recently here on the 16th or 18th. Yep, the 22nd, not even close. Okay, so it's bouncing off that upper trend line, so that is clear support. So the stock should continue to bounce here. My first cut loss level is going to be this low right here, and that is 48.14. And then my final cut loss level for now is all the way down here, 45.38. Which also happens to match up with this lower boundary upper trend line. However, if XPO closes below this level, I am sure then whatever the new low is, that will be my new final cut loss level. But I want to try to give this one room to work because it hasn't been a real smooth uptrender. But when it does move higher, it moves higher quickly. So we'll see if XPO can do it. 2% for being can slim. 2% for being perfect speculator, 4% of my account capital. I may move that around depending on what the dollar loss is going to be potentially in case this low does get taken out. With earnings out of the way, like I said, it's going to really take a really nasty market correction for something like that to happen. The next new long signal is a little bit better. NRP, also high quality, perfect speculator scan quality long signal, not can slim quality long signal. It's also in my new 52-week highs on above average volume scan. But once again, ascending base, ascending triangle, broke out, pulled back to that upper trend line, held it, and now it's bouncing on strong volume. The previous day was a pocket pivot point signal, just had a weak close, kind of a good little follow on to that move. So 2% for perfect speculator, 1% for the new high, 3% total. My first cut loss level is going to be 38.80, and then it's going to be right below this strong move right here at 37.20. So it moves below here, the next stop loss is here, and it's above the upper trend line, but I cannot give it that much room on the downside. Now this is a limited partnership, and my cash account is at Interactive Brokers, and my retirement account LPs are not allowed there, so this is going to go in my margin account only. So at least in one account, only 4 new positions. So not too bad. And then the next new long signal is PAGP. This is kind of the lowest risk long signal. PAGP had a offering. It went over very well. Max Green BOP surge and huge volume surge was in my daily volume surge scan and my price volume BOP surge scan. So 2 volume surge scans, made both of them. So 2% of my account capital goes in this one. First cut loss level can be 31.25 right here, the low a day of the signal on Friday, and then my final cut loss level, and personally my only one, 31.01. These recent lows right here, very, very clear cut. The next new long signal is TRUE. This is probably my favorite one. I like the overall previous uptrend. I like the breakout here, the heavy volume. I like this ascending base consolidation. A lot of accumulation, and the big tall accumulation bars all came with pocket pivot point signals. And so now you have an earnings breakout, a pullback to that upper trend line, resistance becomes support, bounce off support on heavier volume, and BOP has been increasing, overall trending up there intermediate term and there short term. So I definitely like TRUE. It was only in my price volume BOP surge scan, so only 1% for now. First cut loss 13.94, and then my final cut loss, I have 12.92, so that must be down over here. Let's see, it's going to be this base low, of course, 12.92. I probably won't let it go that low, so it'll be 13.94, and then it will be right here, 12.99. There's no way I'm going to let it trade under 12.99, so that'll be my final cut loss level, 12.99 and 13.94. And then there's WNEB. This one initially flagged on this day, but the BOP surge wasn't strong enough for me. The pocket pivot point signal was good. We have another ascending base, but this one's bouncing off the bottom lower trend line. That really reduces our risk in the position. And so you can see that move here and then the move here. Before it decided to close flat on the day, it had max green BOP intraday, and that was a green bar, and it looked like that would be a long. So with it doing what it did on Friday on a even larger volume surge, with BOP surging to max green BOP and the pocket pivot point signal, it's definitely a new long position. In WNEB, my first cut loss level, 955 right here. It's going to be this low right there, I believe. Yep, 955, and then our final cut loss level, I'll give it all the way back to 915 at first, but really it probably won't be going below 923 before I'm out. But that upper trend line, that really reduces the risk. You could only have one final cut loss at 955. It's up to you, but there's a lot of different trades to potentially trade on Monday. And like with all of these, the goal always with these breakouts are measured moves. So you see the previous uptrend in all of these. This is what I expect if they break out on NRP, TRUE, the same kind of move, WNEB, the same kind as that previous uptrend, XPO, you can see the same kind of uptrend, and PAGP is a little different. I'm at least looking for it to break out to new highs, and then we'll see if it can't start uptrending, but this is a pretty wild stock. This is just to see if we can't get a move possibly up here to the mid 30s, and that would be a win for me, a 10% move whenever we don't even risk 1% in the trade. That's 10 to 1 reward risk ratio. I got to take that every time. So those are the new long positions. Now with all these, PAGP is the only one where I'll be using the high a day as my limit order, and the reason for that is normally in this market I don't like chasing, but all of these great little really good setups are a little extended from the 20-day moving average. So XPO, I will be using 50.40 the close, WNEB 9.80 the close, True 14.28 the close, NRP 41.45 the close. PAGP is the only one where I'll be using the high day. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your weekend. I'll see you in the chat room on Monday.